Since Nintendo isn't marketing The World Ends With You Final Remix for the Nintendo Switch, I'll do it. I love The World Ends With You. A unique design, atmosphere, gameplay, and the music's amazing. It actually came out in July 26, 2007 for the Nintendo DS. It actually sold in less than 1 million units worldwide, but was well received all throughout the world. It won awards and received great praises all around, but was still considered a flop by Square Enix. It didn't sell enough, and while that is a shitty way of determining a good game, hey, a business is a business. While it did get a port on the iPad, I actually have it pre-ordered and I can't wait to hear the soundtrack again. So here's why you should care about The World Ends With You. The story takes place in Shibuya, the coolest, hippest town in Japan, where fashion and style rule. In an alternate world, the dead get a chance to fight to live again by completing time missions by the Reapers, the main enemies in the game. You play as Neku Sakuraba, an asshole who actually doesn't get along with people for whatever reason. He just doesn't get them. He's actually kind of a dick in the beginning and is forced to work alongside a partner to survive the Reaper games to come back to life, get his memories back, and return to the real world. The missions are different, and Neku learns to work among people. In particular, he learns to get along with his partners, Shiki, Joshua, Beat, and Rhyme. The story is about working together with people, and is actually interlaced with the gameplay, which I'll talk about later. The best part of the game is the whole mystery of the story. You don't really know what's happening, why things happening to Neku, but as you learn, so does Neku, and so in a way the story interlaces together with the actual feelings of the characters themselves. While cutscenes are long and can kind of drag, the mystery pulls along Neku and the characters throughout the story. It isn't actually easy to guess the game's secrets and their hints, but it trickles them in as you play. Each chapter in the story also grows Neku as a character. He learns more about the story alongside you, and his relationships with the characters grows as you become more attached to them. While the story revolves around Neku, the small cast of characters are actually great. Unlike most JRPGs, there's actually 4 playable characters who are each given a time to shine. Shiki, Josh, and Beat are given time to introduce their goals, insecurities, and show their growth as the game progresses. By the time you finish their stories, it feels like you and Neku have become closer, or at least understand them better as a person. Their villains are just as engaging. Although their goals really aren't very heroic, they also go through their own journeys throughout the story. They aren't really just generic baddies, they have their own style and talking styles that really make them memorable. The World Ends With You has a shit ton of style and music. The art's really colorful, from the city of Shibuya to the character, and even the noise and reapers that you fight throughout the city. Dressed similarly to how people dressed in Shibuya. The city of fashion has colorful clothes, and the graffiti around the city makes traveling the city more interesting. Not only are the clothes stylish, the pins Neku uses to fight has interesting arts, and it actually gives a sense of collections for the players. The pins also give you awesome abilities for Neku to fight with, which I'll explain more in the gameplay. The music is done by Takeharu Ishimoto. He has worked on the soundtracks for Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, The Secret of Mana, and Final Fantasy. The music style is very interesting because it combines hip-hop, electric, rock music, and J-pop. And while the music really isn't for everybody, the ambient music for Wandering the City is always my favorite and a total headbanger once you start getting into the fight. Oh boy, this gameplay is definitely not for everybody. The original DS game was actually pretty difficult, especially if you're slow or have trouble moving your eyes back and forth between the 2 screens. You actually play as Neku and one of your partners. You use the touchpad to move Neku and do certain motions with the stylus to attack the noises. Certain pins require certain moves to attack, and you actually have to move Neku as well to avoid enemy attacks and keep him in advantage areas to attack. At the same time, you're using the D-pad to control the top screens to use either Shiki, Joshua, or Beat's DDR system. Not only that, you're trying to pass an energy puck between each player to deal more damage, and that stacks. It's pretty nuts and hard to grasp in the beginning, and some reviewers even complained it was too hard for their baby brains. I'm just kidding. It was actually tough in the beginning, but if you mastered it, you felt so strong. The noises are the main monsters in the series that you have to fight. Each have a unique strength and weakness that needed you to adjust accordingly, which made fighting feel a lot more interesting. The World Ends With You had a unique feature that allowed you to adjust your levels to make the game harder, but it offered you better rewards for your fight. It provides an incentive to make the game harder, which I appreciate and actually wish more games did, because it made playing more challenging while also making you feel much more rewarded. To be honest, The World Ends With You isn't for everybody. It's actively difficult to master the gameplay, and the game is heavily Japanese influenced. But if you're looking for a unique game with style, fun combat, and a great story, I highly recommend checking it out. It totally deserves to be seen by more people. It took a huge risk to create a new IP for Square Enix, and this game deserves all the praise that it's gotten. Please check it out if you can. The World Ends With You Final Remixes launches October